It did not take long after getting a new coach for Indiana Fever guard, Caitlin Clark, to realize what she was missing last season when Christy Sides was in charge. Under Sides, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year led the Fever to the WNBA playoffs as the number 6 seed, with a 20-20 overall record. They were exposed by a veteran Connecticut Sun team in a 2-0 sweep in the first round of the playoffs. Sides was fired a little more than a month later, on October 27. Clark got a new coach 5 days later when Indiana announced the hiring of Stephanie White, who was head coach of the Sun in 2024. Clark would soon witness the detail that helped White outcoach Sides' team in the playoffs. I mentioned to Stephanie, "Caitlin really was impressed with your game plan," said Sean Gregory, senior sports correspondent for Time magazine. Gregory wrote Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year feature on the WNBA superstar. He recalled his experience at a Fever shoot-around on the Sports Media Podcast with Richard Deitch while discussing what it was like to write the Time cover story. Clark and Sides were seen having visible disagreements that showed they were not on the same page throughout the season. Clark broke her silence on Sides' firing in Gregory's Time article, bluntly responding to the outside noise, suggesting she had something to do with Indiana ousting the coach. "I'm actually not the general manager of the team," Clark said. Based Clark's damning assessment of Sides' game plans, the issues with the former coach may have been more obvious than fans realized. The motivation for Sides' firing is a moot point now with White back at the helm. The 47-year-old is game planning to take the Fever back to the promised land and get the most out of Clark's talents. White was an assistant coach in Indiana when the franchise won its first WNBA title in 2012. She was previously head coach of the Fever for 2 seasons, leading the team to the WNBA Finals in 2015 and another postseason berth in 2016. The Fever did not return to the playoffs again until 2024. Caitlin Clark's former teammate Gabby Marshall has suggested that the Indiana Fever star could have a future in modeling. The 22-year-old basketball sensation has seen her career skyrocket over the past year after being drafted by the Fever as the first overall pick of the 2024 WNBA draft. After 4 successful years with the Iowa Hawkeyes at the collegiate level, Clark signed a rookie contract with the WNBA franchise in March and quickly made a name for herself through her exceptional mindset and outstanding performances on the court. The young player shattered several WNBA records, including becoming the fastest player to hit 100 three-pointers, achieving the most assists in a season, and scoring the most points by a rookie in a season, while leading the Fever to their first playoffs run in 8 years. For her efforts, she was named the WNBA's Rookie of the Year, securing 66 of the 67 total votes for the award. In addition to being named a WNBA All-Star, making the All-WNBA First Team, and earning a spot on the WNBA All-Rookie Team, Clark had an incredible personal season. While it would be unwise for the Iowa native to consider other career paths at this time, given her remarkable achievements in such a short period, former Hawkeyes teammate Marshall believes that Clark could make a splash in the world of modeling, reports the Irish Star. Clark, celebrated as Time's Athlete of the Year, sparked a flurry of admiration on Instagram after gracing the iconic cover in monochrome fashion, complete with a white vest and basketball. Her 3 million followers showered her with compliments, including an amusing suggestion from Marshall. "Maybe it's time to get into modeling," adorned with a winking emoji. The praise didn't stop there, as the official Barbie account chimed in with a confident, Rightly so. While American athlete Anna Hall cheered, well deserved. Basketball star Hannah Stuelke added, "Okay, it's giving face and body," while Nike posted, "No time wasted." This wave of acclaim arrived on the heels of Clark's golfing exploit last month at the 2024 Annika LPGA Pro-Am, where she joined forces with Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam. Yet, fans are tingling with anticipation for the 2025 WNBA season to see what unfolds for Clark under the new guidance of Fever legend Stephanie White, the franchise's newly appointed head coach succeeding Christy Sides. Caitlin Clark, fresh off her record-setting 2024, in which she led Iowa to a national championship game appearance and the Indiana Fever to the WNBA playoffs, was named Times Athlete of the Year. However, some in the WNBA were not happy about that. Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson appeared on CNN earlier this week. Johnson seemed annoyed by Clark's honor, suggesting that instead, the entire WNBA should have been put on the cover. "We're not sure how that would have worked." Johnson believes that Clark only deserves a small piece of the credit for the WNBA's surge in popularity this year. "It has taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now," Johnson said. "And this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft and the players that came in. It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Angel Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized, and I don't think we can pin it on just one player. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have, and I think right now, it is time for that to happen." Johnson, who owns the Washington Mystics, thinks the WNBA should have been named the League of the Year. You read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, "The WNBA is the League of the Year"? Because of all the talent that we have, Caitlin Clark fans have rightfully been expressing their outrage on social media. Clark's younger brother, Colin, shared a not-so-subtle message on X, formerly known as Twitter. Colin reposted a story that noted how the Washington Mystics, who play in a 4,000-seat arena, moved their 2 home games against the Indiana Fever to the Capital One Arena, where the Washington Wizards play. 2 games against the Fever accounted for 31% of the team's home attendance for the season. It seems like Clark is probably the reason for that. I feel like I always have had good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life. Whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career, Clark said. But I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. My favorite player was Maya Moore. I know what this league was about. It's only been around 25 plus years, and so I know there has been so many amazing black women that have been in this league. And continuing to uplift them is very important, and that's something I'm very aware of. Chris Evert has rushed to back Caitlin Clark after the owner of the Washington Mystics played down her impact on the WNBA, as the 22-year-old Indiana Fever star is voted Time Athlete of the Year. After graduating from the NCAA as the overall first pick of the 2024 draft, Clark has taken professional basketball by storm and was eventually voted as the Rookie of the Year after averaging an impressive 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. And alongside those performances, attendances spiked by 48% from 2023, whilst the Fever began to sell out the Gainbridge Fieldhouse and venues across the United States as fans wanted to catch a glimpse of the budding star. But for Sheila Johnson, the 75-year-old suggested that it was the collective wider draft class rather than just Clark, as she highlighted another talented player in Angel Reese, who picked up the only other vote in the WNBA Rookie of the Year contest. Johnson has picked up her fair share of criticism for the comments. And now Chris Evert, the former world #1 in tennis, added her voice to back the 22-year-old's recognition as Athlete of the Year. Clark's popularity and subsequent decision by the WNBA to make her the face of the league is a pretty obvious one from a commercial point of view, considering the interest that has followed the youngster form. Her time with the Iowa Hawkeyes to Indiana Fever. However, there has been a big suggestion that the main reason she is so popular is because she is white, that the hype around her is no more deserving than that of Reese or Ajo Wilson. And that's something Johnson appears to buy into. "Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this," Johnson told CNN. "It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel very bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition they should have. I think, right now, it is time for that to happen. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on the cover and said, the WNBA is the League of the Year because of all the talent that we have?" Caitlin Clark showcased her resilience this week, putting aside the uproar stemming from her interview with Time magazine to soak in the electrifying atmosphere of college basketball. The WNBA sensation was recently crowned Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, a nod to her extraordinary breakout season that shattered numerous records. At just 22 years old, Clark has faced considerable criticism following her remarks about white privilege during her interview, where she acknowledged both the challenges and heightened interest surrounding her entry into the league. Determined not to let the controversy rain on her parade, Clark was spotted enjoying a game with her ally, star Tyrese Halliburton, as the Wisconsin men's basketball team took on Butler. The trio, including Halliburton's girlfriend, have forged a close friendship since Clark's move to Indianapolis earlier this year, and they appeared to revel in each other's company as they chatted animatedly from a plush box with reserved seating. The recognition of Time's Athlete of the Year was a significant milestone, prompting Clark to engage in an extensive interview detailing various facets of her rise to fame, particularly the role of race in her journey. Clark candidly stated that the WNBA is built on black talent and acknowledged the existence of white privilege. Remarks that ignited a firestorm of criticism online from notable figures, including Outkick founder Clay Travis and media personality Dave Portnoy. Even Jason Whitlock, who had previously been a supporter, couldn't contain his emotions, declaring that her comments left him in tears, while conservative activist Riley Gaines also chimed in on the contentious debate. In a baffling twist, Sheila Johnson, owner of the Washington Mystics, publicly criticized Clark, alleging that her Time Award should have involved more than just the Rookie of the Year race. Amid the chaos, Clark found herself navigating a complex landscape of race and rivalry in her rookie season, facing accusations of jealousy and bullying from peers. Despite the storms swirling around her, Clark's star power has only increased, having boosted the popularity of the WNBA since her arrival. Her presence led to a remarkable jump in viewership and attendance. Her on-court performances were nothing short of breathtaking, helping her break long-standing records and earning herself accolades, including a spot in the top 4 for MVP voting. Prior to her professional debut, Clark garnered a massive following with the Iowa Hawkeyes, where she propelled the team to consecutive championship games, albeit finishing as the runner-up in both encounters. She became the first overall selection in the WNBA draft and has since guided the Indiana Fever to their initial playoff appearance since 2016, earning the Rookie of the Year title along the way.